Today we're sitting down to make a cup. So as always, I'm going to make sure to start with a clean wheel head. We're going to do some shaping on this. So it's really important that we take the time to get our clay centered to start with so we don't end up with any visible uneven walls or high or low spots on our walls. So when you're going to make a cup, it's important to have an idea in mind so you know where to leave clay. If we're going to do some trimming later, we need to make sure that we have enough clay to make the shape that we want. So I'm going to start almost like a bowl. So I'm going to start establishing a nice curve instead of a flat base there in the bottom. Do a couple pulls up here to even out my walls. There's a lot of clay hiding down here, so I'm going to dig in, try to get some more height out of that. There's a few different ways to push your clay out to give it some swell and some volume. One of the ways I like to do it is to gently push out with the pads of my left hand fingers on the inside. Put some counter pressure with a sponge, or even a metal rib on the outside. It's going to keep it nice and strong, prevent any cracks from forming. If you want to bring anything in, also called collaring, I'm going to make sure that my clay is really slippery. And just very gently start working our way in. And since this is going to be a drinking vessel, we want to be really intentional about how we leave the rim on these. If you do have a wobble and you end up cutting some extra clay off, it's important to not leave it like this. This isn't going to be a very good drinking lip. It's going to be sharp, maybe uncomfortable. It'll dribble when you drink out of it. So just a finger or even a sponge. Just going to knock down any sharp edges that could be uncomfortable later. As always, going to make sure to get any excess water out of the inside. And since this one has some different shapes than a cylinder or a bowl, we can't really see all of the walls inside very well, it's okay to leave a little extra clay at the bottom so that you can trim and really nail the inside and the outside sort of being parallel when you do trim it to have nice even walls. I'm going to take my wooden knife, shave off some of this extra clay. We don't want to cut in too far because we are going to trim a foot into this later after it firms up. So if we trim in too far, you're not going to have any room for a foot for the cup to stand on. Leaving a little extra clay there at the bottom too makes it really forgiving when you do want to pick it up, just so your form doesn't warp on you. There we have a cup.